Okay, I have done a tiny bit more work since yesterday evening's postings. The little tiny bit of work here is adding a little charm around her neck. And for those of you who maybe don't remember from another video, this is me, and that's my father. I've never done anything like this before. Why the 3? 3 is one of my lucky numbers. I am 3rd in birth order. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to call her finished. Call me finished. Ha 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 ha. Set her over there. And then bring over some of the things that I did a little differently. Let's see if I can maybe huh? Oh, there we go. Okay. So you can see here, I've added this piece on the chain. I've added some little jump rings to hold things together. And I like this a lot better than the pins. I've also glued the head on, which makes me much happier. But I decided to go ahead and kind of do this. Again, this is my first try at any of this. So we're kind of just, we're vibing with it. I also got, I can get that, bramble. Why does it say bramble? There are a couple of different reasons. First of all, it's the name of a lock company, a padlock company, that was invented, or I shouldn't say invented, manufactured in Terre Haute, Indiana. It was a lock that my father really, really wanted in his collection. It was one of many. This was like his grail lock, being it's the thing you're looking for your collection. That's like the thing that you want the most to have in your collection. This is not what a bramble lock looked like. I'll give you a link in here. For me, my personal grail is Keystone, which I think is interesting. Because this piece is a lot about how my father and I were much more alike than we were different. And I get that now that I'm a little older, because I can now see that when I come into my studio and I'm sitting and I'm working, I may be working on something different, a doll or a dollhouse, but I'm working at it with the same sort of intensity that my father did. There's no huge financial payoff. This is just what we did, what we do. So, and he always shared with me interesting little bits of what he found and how things worked, which, you know, that's pretty cool. I also glued the head on. I went ahead and glued the head on, thinking that if in the future I want to change anything, I can change it. I also got this piece glued on, and then today I'm going to be adding some not pegs, some sticks, some, what do you call them? A doll stand here and here, so that when it's hung on the wall, they'll stay put. Which hopefully they will. I made these nice and thick, so this shouldn't be a problem. Yeah. Now, when it comes to the jump ring things, making the jump rings, I just made them out of some wire I had around. Making jump rings is not that hard. I kind of did them quick and dirty, which I'll show you in the second part of this video. I'll demonstrate it because I kind of wanted to make some more of this chain anyway. So I'll show you that in just here in a second. But today I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to put the A-frame piece together because it's pretty much done. I have like one or two things left to do on it. And then it's finished. And then I can just glue it all together. And then I have a few things that I need to add to the dollhouse. And then I can start relaxing a little bit. So yeah. So I'll see you in the second part of this video. Okay, making these jump rings is not that hard. I can't, okay, this is the wire that I have. I got this on sale, someplace, at like a clearance house or something, or other. I got like 4 or 5 spools of it. It's just, for me, having this 20 gauge wire is, pardon me, just really super handy, for lots of different things. So I'm gonna, this is probably about, pardon me, I've got the hiccups, about 10 inches or so. And I just use bamboo skewers, or basically anything that you can find that's like round. I think for some of the larger ones, I needed something a little smaller, so I used this chopstick that I use for stuffing. And I think, in fact, I'll use, well, no, wait, I want to use something that's more uniform, so I'm going to use this one. And I have some really basic tools here. I would prefer having some different kinds of pliers, but this is what I got right now. These are the types of pliers that I use the most. And a pair of little nippers. And then what I do is I'll put my thumb down and hold it, because there are better ways of doing this, like really more expensive tools that you can use to do this. But if you're like me, so you can see basically all I'm doing is winding very closely. It's almost like I'm making a spring, because there have been times in the past where I have made springs that are like this. And for smaller jump rings like this, this 20 gauge will do. Oh man, my fingers hurt. Working with wire and metal is just, makes my little uncalloused fingies just not happy. Okay, so what we have here is just very tightly wound. Now, I'm going to get rid of these. Now, I wear glasses, but I still put my finger over things to make sure they don't fly out of the way. And then I'm going to take this one as far back as I can. So now I have a little springs. Now what I do is, this is the side with, you can see there's that first cut, and then right along next to it, I cut the next one, and there's a jump ring. And I sometimes get impatient and I'll try to do like 2 at a time. Don't do that. You know me, I'm a really impatient worker. So there are the little, you can see the little jump rings just fall down pretty easily. Now, when you're working with jump rings, come on, sometimes the wire will just like not cooperate. And again, this is really inexpensive wire. I've worked with much better wire. No offense to this wire, because this wire has served me very well. I think I spent a grand total of like $10 on several spools of wire. This is a silver coated. So this is, it's copper or brass or something underneath. But you just go along and very carefully nip, and you're trying to get as close as you can to the, there we go, come on, there we go, close as you can to right there. So I don't want to cut over here. I want to cut where it's close, because if you've ever worked with a jump ring before, you know how you're supposed to work with them. Okay, so that one, you can tell which one's like the junk ones. Okay, so I have, I got about 15 out of that. So when you're working with a jump ring, and again, I am self-taught. I've got the tiny little opening is right there next to the pliers. And then I bend it so I open it just a tiny bit. Let me get that to focus. And then what you can do is you put your next one on. And then you close it by going back and forth. You never want to open them this way. It's back and forth. Okay, and now I need to close this one, make sure it's closed up. There. So now what I do is I've got those two together. I'm gonna open this one up. And you can see how that's, I can get that to focus. You can see how it's open. And I'm holding it with the one set. Put it on. And then I close it. Put it down. Pick up the next one. I used to be able to do this, like keeping everything like if you're really sailing on this, you don't even have to like put your pliers down. You can just continually pick things up and trade them back and forth. I wish I had a pair of pliers that was not, didn't have the grip on them, because sometimes what'll happen is when I'm putting these together, they'll get like a little grippy. And these are not perfect, but for the purpose that I need them, they work really, really well. Now, I wouldn't go any smaller than a 20 gauge wire. Remember, the bigger the number, the smaller the wire. And this is a smaller, what you call it? Oops. Bamboo skewer. Oop. Come on. There we go. I guess it's probably because I'm talking and trying to do this. And it doesn't matter. Sometimes you'll get little gaps in there. You know, as long as the gap's not huge, don't have a heart attack. It's much easier to kind of bend around this section. Okay. And then you don't want to put it on there too tight because you're not going to be able to get it off. So you can see here, I've made a much smaller one, and I can come in and carefully nip these apart, and I've made even smaller jump rings. So it's not as hard as you think. There was a part of me last night that was like, I wish I had a chain, and it's like, dummy, you can make one. So that's what I did. So that is how you make jump rings and you make a chain. I would want something smaller than this. I'd probably want a 22 gauge for any kind of wire wrapping stuff, because that you really need to be able to manipulate. So I hope you liked the little tutorial on how to make jump rings and how I went about making the little pieces. And then, I forgot to show you, with the little hearts, I just, because I don't have any kind of stampery tool, I just poked a hole in it. Now, you can take a metal needle or a pin and poke it through, and you'll get a more uniform hole. This is, instead of moving the pieces away, this just, or getting rid of the pieces, this is just kind of making a hole. So you're going to need to come in pretty quick and put your loop in here, or your hoop in here. So that is how I did all of that, and that was really weird and didn't... I swear my stuff is going to be so much better next month when my brain is not absolute smush. Thank you, patrons, and I will see you in the next video.